standing procedure that could be implemented should lead to a good quality product and not so many losses. So we have to, during this research project that take place, very attention is paid to the fact that species provisions for each fish species and size should be there, and we should take them into account because each species has different requirements, so it should be treated in a different way. And of course, in all cases, it's shown that stunning should be followed by the use of ice slurry, which is much smoother and better for fish. Next slide, please. Okay. And of course, regarding the welfare in fish farms themselves, in live animals, all relevant guidelines for critical factors affecting welfare in fish farms are indeed applied by the Greek industry, especially in terms of water quality, like I mentioned before, for transport, the water exchange rate, the water temperature, the stocking density, oxygen levels, food supply, and other key factors. So we're happy to say that the standards are really high in terms for the cultivation of sea bass and sea bream in general. Next slide, please. Greek stakeholders' perspective. So, our private industry applies codes of practice and quality schemes which safeguard the fish welfare. And they believe that possible new methods, if implemented either by legislation or in any other means, should always take into account, first of all, the biosafety of personnel, which is very important because people should be safe when using, for standing machines close to water, using electricity close to water or whatever else. A good amount of fish should be able to be handled in relation with time in order to be practical. Effective handling and standing procedures should be applied by the personnel, which implies training of personnel. The cost is another big issue, so it should be feasible and so that the enterprise should continue to be viable. And of course, to have an extremely high quality of product. That's important. Next slide, please. Yes, it will take more. So, the expectations from the European Commission regarding our point of view as a member state should be that if it is ever decided, there should be a species-specific legislation on fish welfare in farms during transport and at the time of killing in order to have harmonization between all member states and move a little bit things forward. Of course, legislation should take into account, like I said, the cost-effective solutions that should be viable for the producers and the whole chain of production. That should be taken into account when writing down a legislative text. Of course, care for the increased welfare for fish is very important because, as we already heard, that fish are sentient beings and we should really respect their whole life and their time of killing, which is a very, very special moment for their lives. So this legislation should take this into account, like it does for other species already. And of course, the Commission, if possible, should offer initiatives, either financial or not, for the scientific advance, especially in terms of welfare at the time of killing. We would like to see the support of the European Commission in our country and other member states to work things forward, like we would like to see. I think that's it. The next slide is, I think, the last one. So this is a very nice Greek sea. Summer is coming, so this is about a small aquaculture. I would like to finish and say thank you by mentioning that we need to take into account that Greece has a lot of islands, and we are able to see many small fish farms, not only the big industrial ones, but also small ones. So we should always keep in mind that we would like to keep these enterprises viable as well. Thank you very much, and we will be open to questions later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Katerina, also for tempting us with that lovely picture of Greece. I'm sure we would all rather be. Okay, thank you. Next up is Owen McKay. He works for the Commission, the Directorate General on Maritime Affairs and Fisheries. And I've got 5 minutes down for you, Owen, to provide a quick overview of fish welfare in European aquaculture policy.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be brief. So my name is Owen McKay. I'm from the Directorate General for Maritime Affairs. I come from Unit A2, which is the unit responsible for aquaculture. I don't have a PowerPoint to show you this morning. I just wanted to give you a short few words to give the view from the Commission. The view is that EU aquaculture delivers a valuable, high-quality product, fresh, locally farmed, and our role, as the Commission, our role is to promote and to support the sustainable development of the aquaculture sector across the EU. There are a number of strict animal health laws and consumer protection laws, as well as environmental protection laws, and these serve to make our fish socially, economically, and environmentally sustainable. In doing so, they also ensure the health and the welfare of the animals. Production in the EU is costly. Farmers have a strong incentive to care for the fish at all life stages. This means clean water, the right type of feed, stocking density, ensuring low stress. Otherwise, they're paying high production costs to deliver a low quality product, and it's simply not a sustainable business model. Caring for the fish welfare delivers a high quality product. We heard from the previous speakers about rules at the time of transport and killing. I also wanted to mention that fish are protected by Directive 98/58, protection of animals for farming. And together, all of these rules, including the ones on transport and killing, ensure adequate consideration is given to welfare at all life stages. As the last speaker mentioned, it is the competent authority in the member state that is responsible for the implementation of these rules. And the tools for this are provided by the Official Controls Regulation 882 of 2004. As well as these rules and regulations, there are a number of documents, opinions and advice coming from EFSA, Council of Europe recommendation, the recent Commission report, input from the Aquaculture Advisory Council, which has just come out, and all of these things can help to implement the rules for the member state, the competent authority in the member state. Coming back to the report, which my colleague Niall from DG Sante was speaking about, there are two findings in particular that stood out to us in DG Mare, and they are that, one, improvements could be needed for sea bass and sea bream, and the second, if further guidance is required, it's best achieved at member state level. Now, in the Commission's role to support the sustainable development of aquaculture, one of our tasks is to coordinate with the member state contact points. We're responsible for licensing and planning and controlling aquaculture across the member states. It's a forum in which we share best practices and share information on progress with development, and it happens 2 times per year. And we plan to raise these 2 points on the agenda of the next workshop and to ask member states about their best practices on welfare for sea bass and sea bream. Finally then, just to finish, the last speaker mentioned financial support. Just a quick word on that. The European Maritime and Fisheries Fund provides a number of measures to fund welfare initiatives. There's specific support for innovations to improve welfare on farm, for training and advice at farm level, including on welfare, and for the development of best practice. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Ronan. I'm now going to hand over to Veronica Havelis. She's the Director of Co-Organisers European Animals, the leading animal welfare organisation in the EU. Now, they're going to be releasing a survey which looked at consumer demands on fish welfare, which has been already mentioned. It's going to be out very soon, and that's what Veronica will be focusing on today.
Thank you very much. And also on behalf of Europe for Animals, thanks so much for joining us here today at this first ever political event on fish welfare. And before I will kick off my presentation on consumers and citizens' views and perceptions on fish welfare, I would like to thank Joe Fleck for his leadership on fish welfare and Stefan for being so committed to drive this undervalued topic so far. Let me start by saying that Europe for Animals is very committed to fish welfare, and our mission is to raise the bar for fish, for rotten species. And we are very much looking forward to continuing this journey together with all of you. Because traditionally, fish have been at the bottom of the moral value ladder. And we were having the assumption that citizens don't really care, that fish don't feel pain, and that fish are more like automatons with a 3-second memory. Because indeed, despite the scientific consensus on fish sentience, as we have heard already today, and the rapidly developing body of evidence on fish welfare needs, fish are barely protected at the moment. We have a lot of legislation for other species, but we don't have any species-specific legislation for fish. But what do civil society and consumers really think about fish, and do they care? And I would like to ask you, what do you think? How many of the European citizens, European Union citizens, I must specify, believe that fish should be better protected? And I would like to do a quick poll in the room. Can we do that, Doug? Can you note some of the responses? There's no prize, but please, who would like to take a bet? How many of the EU citizens believe that fish should be better protected? No one dare.
I'll kick off, less than 50%.
Less than 50, okay.
30.
30? Okay. Who else? One more.
55.
25.
We have a 70 there.
We had a 55, we'll take it.
55. Okay. And 25 there. Doug, have you noted all of this?
Yeah, from
Good.
50 down back up to 70.
Okay. The truth is that until today, we didn't know much about citizens and consumers' perceptions and expectations. And that's why Hugo for Animals, together with Compassionate World Farming, and I'm very happy that they are here today, there and next to me, decided to commission a survey into public perceptions around the welfare of fish. And I'm pleased that we will reveal the results today at this landmark event. And at the end of my presentation, I will also shine our light on the survey's implications. But let me first give you some background. Yes, there we go. On the survey carried out by Comrades, which is an independent polling station. And the EU results I present today are based on 1,000 respondents in each of 9 EU countries, covering 75% of the EU's population. And the involved countries are, as you can see, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Poland, Sweden, the Netherlands, and Czechia. And respondents were asked questions about fish welfare, about purchasing choices, and about the relationship between welfare and sustainability. And I would like to highlight some of the key results, and you can see the others on our website later. And the first key results are related to general perceptions about fish. As I said before, we have scientific consensus around fish pain, fish suffering, but does the public understanding match this? We were very curious. Indeed, as you can see here on the slide, the vast majority of EU citizens believe that fish are sentient, 65%. They agree that fish feel pain, 73%, and that they have positive emotions and experiences, 55%. Moreover, they think fish should be better protected than they are at the moment, and here you are, 79% of the EU citizens believe fish should be better protected. So, Doug, who won?
Oh, the fish.
Oh.
I didn't hear who said second.
I think Bernard, he will speak after me. You will hear why he believed this. He's also one of the visionaries on this topic. Doug, can we go one back, please? And moreover, EU citizens believe that fish should be protected to the same extent as other animals that are being eaten. We were astonished when we saw this, you know, and we haven't bribed the Congress, I can assure you that. But what do citizens believe fish welfare actually means? Well, we must admit that citizens recognize that they don't know the details, that they don't have all the knowledge. But on top of recognizing the sentience of fish, they have a holistic view of what fish welfare should mean. They know that clean water is essential and recognize that allowing for natural behaviors, minimizing suffering, protecting health, but also ensuring humane slaughter and enjoying life are of the same magnitude of importance. Now, turning to consumer preference is also very important because we heard already that there is also a price ticket to higher welfare systems. Well, there's good news because 79% of the EU consumers want welfare information on the label, whether standalone information or within broader labels. Consumers are looking for welfare and see it as an indicator for other attributes like quality, sustainability, and food safety. And we believe that fish welfare labeling has been underutilized so far, and it's very hard, not to say impossible, to know what you are buying when you are purchasing fish. It's not visible on the labels. So we believe that these results provide an ultimate opportunity for the agriculture and fisheries sectors. Lastly, I'm presenting some interesting results on the interlinkages between fish welfare and sustainability claims. Because the survey shows that consumers already think that fish welfare is part of sustainability. And they granted higher